The pandemic highlighting how necessary permanent housing is, as many shelters across the state are filled to capacity. Nearly 3,000 people in Connecticut were homeless in 2020, according to the Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness. Beat and her husband Kyle joined that list in February when they could no longer pay rent and were evicted from their Bristol apartment.
The state needs to do more for the residents. They have to provide more assistance, especially with housing and employment for people.
This is a serious crisis, and even before the pandemic occurred, it's only gotten much worse.
Beat says she's been trying to get a job, but at 59 years old and during a pandemic, it's been difficult. She adds she suffers from 2 autoimmune diseases, while her husband Kyle was previously in an accident and is now disabled.
They are at the bottom of the list because they are older. They're taking young families first, but however, they are disabled and cannot work.
For many people in the state, homelessness is a new reality since the pandemic began, with shelters filling up to capacity quicker due to social distancing requirements.
We really had to decompress the shelters for CDC guidelines to get, to meet the requirements for congregate settings. So that, placed strain in a couple of ways. We had to find, temporary housing for anyone that was in the shelter at the time.
Although the homeless population has decreased by 4% since 2019, according to the Coalition. In 2020, 2,904 people were homeless in Connecticut. This includes 1,947 adults, 305 family households, and 560 children. But the main issue remains the same: lack of immediate housing.
One of the frustrations that we deal with is in our desire to help people, we encounter that they need housing right away within, 2 to 3 months.
State officials say homeless individuals should dial 211 for help finding an opening at a shelter or permanent housing, but say being on a wait list could last years.
No services. A lot of programs have closed down. That's another issue.
Housing Authority, we tried.
Our housing is a waiting list can be up to a year and a half or more, depending on the family size.
I completely empathize with how scary and frustrating the system can be, and experiencing homelessness is traumatic, and just to keep trying and to have faith in the system that we really do care about everybody.
The Connecticut Coalition to End Homelessness says the state not only needs more housing, but more adequate staffing for their 211 system. Outside the Department of Housing in Hartford, it's Nia Maldonado, Fox 61 News.